my fellow Americans. Tonight, I want to speak with you about our nations. We have been in frequent contact with our allies, and we are marshaling the full power of the federal government and the private sector to protect the American people.
Everything began like any other high-profile interview. Trump entered the studio with that familiar grin, soaking in the applause as if it were his birthright. The lights were bright, the audience clapping, the cameras catching every confident gesture. Beside him, Ivanka followed, graceful, polished, her composure immaculate.
1 year ago, I introduced my father when he declared his candidacy. In his own way and through his own sheer force of will, he sacrificed greatly to enter the political arena as an outsider.
Across from them sat Jasmine Crockett, quiet and unreadable, her gaze steady on Trump, as though she already knew what no one else did.
Our next guest is a member of Congress who makes a lot of sense to me. U.S. Representative from Texas, Jasmine Crockett.
The host welcomed them warmly, easing into the conversation. Mr. Trump, millions are watching tonight. You face so many challenges. What keeps you going? It was the perfect question for Trump. He leaned forward, smiled, and answered with the conviction of a man used to being believed.
Do you understand how that works? Because I don't.
Nobody understands it, but it's an unfair system. And, I understand the bosses hand out delegates, and whoever gets the most, super delegates has a good advantage. But it's unfair to him. I don't like what's happening, and I watch it.
Family. My family keeps me strong. They're my everything. Ivanka, Barron, all of them. The most loyal, the most amazing. The crowd erupted in applause. Trump thumped the desk with satisfaction. That's the truth, he added with pride.
Well, we're very proud of our father and what he's accomplished. It is amazing. I've been joking for a while that when we started even just this project, we said Trump was coming to Pennsylvania Avenue, and we didn't even know at the time what exactly that meant.
Ivanka's smile stayed frozen, her eyes cool. On the surface, she was the picture of support. But under the lights, her stillness carried something unspoken. Jasmine Crockett didn't move. She didn't clap. She sat silent, studying him, her patience sharp as glass. Trump continued, basking in his own rhythm. When you're a leader, your family shows who you are. My values, my loyalty, my children prove that. He gestured proudly toward Ivanka, who nodded slightly but avoided eye contact. The audience cheered again, but something about the moment felt different. It wasn't the applause. It was the faint tension creeping into the air, an invisible shift that even the cameras could feel. Jasmine's calm presence was altering the energy of the room. Then, as the host prepared to move on, Jasmine finally spoke. Her voice was steady, quiet, but commanding. Mr. Trump, you talk a lot about strength and honesty, about how your family defines you. But what if that story isn't as honest as you make it sound?
And now we're just getting some of the information. Now you contrast that with what we see the Republicans doing. It's simply a matter of them bending the knee again to Trump. It is the cult-like mentality that we see that is becoming pervasive in this country, where they say that he's our ruler. It doesn't matter what he does.
The air in the studio tightened. Trump blinked, thrown off for just a second. Excuse me? My family's the strongest. Everyone knows that. Don't start with nonsense. But Jasmine didn't flinch. That's exactly what I mean. You present one picture, the perfect father, the loyal family. But what if you've been hiding something very real about your family? Gas rippled through the crowd. Ivanka's smile faltered. Her eyes flicked toward her father, then back to Jasmine. Trump laughed, waving his hand dismissively. Fake news, ridiculous, total garbage. But Jasmine leaned in slightly. I'm not making anything up, and I wouldn't say this if I didn't have proof. The public deserves the truth, especially when it's about the family you claim defines you. The host froze, unsure whether to intervene. The camera zoomed in on Trump's face, red, tight-jawed, his confidence cracking. Then Jasmine asked, the question that stopped everything. Why don't you tell them who Barron's real mother is? The audience gasped. The silence that followed was electric. Trump slammed his hand on the desk. How dare you? That's a disgusting lie, he shouted. But Jasmine stayed calm.
Well, I have news for him. If he wants to be in this country where we believe in a democracy, then he needs to abide by our laws as well as the Constitution.
Her voice cutting through his anger. It's not a lie. It's not gossip. It's fact. And I have the documents to prove it. Murmurs filled the room. Ivanka froze again, her face pale under the lights. Trump pointed at Jasmine, yelling, "You're insane. You're making this up to destroy my family." Jasmine remained composed. "The louder you yell, Mr. Trump, the clearer it becomes. You don't want the truth to come out." The audience gasped again. Trump's fury wavered. "Evil people, but it also sets things right. And tonight, you deserve to hear it." She reached under the desk, pulling out a thick manila folder. The sound of paper against paper filled the silent room. The host leaned closer. "Are those documents?" he whispered. Jasmine didn't look at him. She kept her eyes on Trump and Ivanka. "You call me a liar, Mr. Trump, but I don't speak without proof. And right here, in my hands, is evidence." Trump barked over her, desperate. "Fake. It's all fake. Another witch hunt. Another smear." But his shouting only amplified Jasmine's control. She opened the folder slowly. "These are not rumors or opinions. These are legal documents, hospital records, DNA reports, notarized and verified." She lifted them toward the cameras. "This isn't gossip. This is fact." Trump shouted again, "Lies, all of it." His voice cracked. Jasmine raised her chin, her voice slicing through the noise. "The truth is this. Ivanka Trump is Barron's real mother." The studio erupted. The sound was deafening. Gasps, shouts, disbelief. The host tried to restore order, but it was impossible. Trump stood, pointing furiously, his face flushed and trembling. Ivanka's composure shattered. She looked down, her lips trembling as the camera zoomed in. Jasmine sat still amid the chaos, calm and unyielding, the center of the storm she had just unleashed. And in that moment, as the studio dissolved into noise and shock, one truth hung in the air, heavier than anything else. The image of power and perfection that Trump had built for years had just cracked open, live on camera in front of millions.